sublime.
I was chloroforming clothes all morning. I may have ingested too much. Let us find a body.
A what?
She grabbed my hairy business.
Let us touch each other's genital pieces.
No.
Is she gonna squeeze it? Do we need squeezing? Is it just pulling? Is it flopping?
Tonight, at midnight, I secretly run away.
Why keep it in my mouth if it is revolting?
I have said that before to Gerald.
Oh, because you mean his penis.
Oh.
You aim to trap Bella at sea. So you wish to marry me or kill me? Is that the proposal?
No.
You're always reading now, Bella. You're losing some of your adorable way of speaking.
You were in my son.
Well, technically, you are your baby. And also, I suppose, you are your mother. And also neither.
That does not apply as a metaphor here.
Our adventure is clearly over.
So we all watched Poor Things.
We did.
It was my best picture. If you watch my channel, you would know I picked it as best picture of the year. Did it live up to that hype?
I didn't see any of the other ones.
Yeah,
so.
what were the other pictures?
But I think his movies is the best movie that comes out any year, except for maybe Killing the Sacred Deer.
Jess was better than Barbie.
Yeah.
And kind of a
I'm
weird...
shocked. I am shocked. She said it's better than Barbie, which I thought was your favorite film of all time, other than Xanadu.
Not like all time. I mean, I really
You were
did
very
enjoy
into
it. I really, really enjoyed it. I don't know if it. I don't know if it was better. I don't know.
It's kind of like a dark Barbie.
Yeah, right. Like it
Steampunk
kind of
Freud
reminded
Barbie.
me.
Yeah,
I wrote down.
yeah.
It is
It
pretty
is
similar
Barbie.
to
It's
like
the
a
same story.
story. Yeah, right. Like
Naive girl,
basically.
but not really, goes through a portal or a brain transfer, and then men do things to her. That's
Yeah.
essentially both movies.
that's true.
Finds her way into the real world.
Why are
Travel
men
back.
the
Yeah.
movie?
Why are men the movie? 100%.
So if you didn't like Barbie because it was too silly and you want a more serious
Oh yeah, this movie
Yeah.
is very
take on the same
serious.
kind of
Yeah.
I liked it better than Barbie because it is doing a lot of the same things, but then Barbie has some lulls to me where it's like, I don't know, Will Ferrell will be funny. I don't know, we're gonna say to camera what the meaning of this part was, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas this is like, oh man, that's a metaphor. That's, oh, we're taking this metaphor another layer. Oh, he's gonna have a doctor do what now?
That does not apply as a metaphor here.
That's a big metaphor, people. More meaning. The English major in me was very happy. I don't let him out very much.
You don't want it. Yeah, when's the last time you read a
We've
book?
never discussed screenwriting.
So I have read / listened to the Poor Things audiobook over the last week.
Okay, I didn't know it was a book.
It was
didn't
a
either.
book
You can
written,
borrow my copy. I have a copy.
Okay.
or you can get it from the
copy
library
ours.
on Libby as an audiobook for free
you-
immediately. Just before we get into spoilers, who should see this movie? What did you think of it? Rated on a scale of 9 to 46 brains in jars. Because 9 is the worst because, I mean, you can't do much science with 9 brains in jars. 46 is like,
It's an excessive amount of brains and jars.
too many.
Okay.
If you liked the original Willy Wonka, but thought there wasn't enough body, gory horror,
Less busy lifting, drinking, more
this is for
date
you.
rape
If you
drugs.
wanted Willy Wonka made by David Cronenberg,
there you
David
go.
Cronenberg's date rape drug version of Willy Wonka.
Yeah. There's whimsy.
Wow. Yeah.
There's gross out,
Be right
poofy
back.
sleeves.
And you get titties with this one too.
A lot of titties.
Yeah.
A lot
Even
of
some
titties.
bush.
but no armpit hair.
Yeah, well, you noticed that. What's up
No,
with
Jeff
that?
noticed.
Oh, who shaves their armpits?
That's what I
Yeah,
asked.
that's what Jacob said.
I noticed armpits and pubes and the anachronistic pube situations, you know? Because it started with, like, I think it was Game of Thrones. One of the actresses was like, oh, I'm going to do a nude scene. Okay. You want me to, like, grow it out for, like, 6 months? And they're like, no, can you just keep, like, do you shave it? Can you shave it? And she's like, my character would have, like, a big bush. I need, like, a merkin.
Bush,
It's gonna be big.
absolutely.
And they're like, no, you don't want that. And I was like, that's
Done.
I want
Okay,
time
bush.
period appropriate bush situations.
Same. Sublime.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Patriarchy.
The
Story,
patriarchy.
So yes, I liked it more than Barbie, and I did like Barbie quite a lot, but I feel like this one had a little deeper meaning, a little more metaphors than my English major brain could handle. We all agree with that.
It was
Your
darker,
very
too.
big brain.
My very big English major brain, bigger than that. So much bigger.
Is that normal size?
Because you mean his penis.
That's a 2-year-old, 1-year-old? I don't know. Human babies come out quite big, don't they?
You're so full of shit.
mean-
you don't know.
I don't. I'm
It's
guessing.
quite big.
It's like, no, that's actually what a 2-year-old's brain looks like. You don't know.
Actual size? Oh my god,
Yeah.
this is scaring me.
Well, we're gonna implant Dee Dee's brain into you later.
It's scaring me.
Freya's brain into Jacob.
I don't know why I don't like the brain.
I think this
Why
is
am I
like
afraid
a
of
That
it?
might just
pretty
be
close to
standard
adult
right
size.
you know?
I
I
agree.
wasn't afraid of it
Maybe
until you
not.
held it next to me and we're comparing it to my brain. I'm like, oh
What
my
does it
god, I
taste
forget
like?
I have organs sometimes. Like, you know?
So you're gonna get Dee Dee's brain put in you later. Jacob's getting Freya's brain. I'm getting
Certainly.
Pepper's brain. You get to observe a spoiler-free synopsis-ish. Who wants to take that?
Well, I mean, the brain transplant is a reveal, so.
It's like 20 minutes in though.
Fate had brought me a dead body and a live infant. It was obvious.
It was?
Take the infant's brain out and put it in the full-grown woman. Reanimate her and watch.
Jesus.
It's a coming-of-age tale about a woman in steampunk Victorian times for some reason.
It's like a Frankenstein story.
It's Frankenstein.
Yes,
Absolutely.
It's Barbie?
Meets Pygmalion.
It's
It's Barbie
Barbie
meets
Frankenstein. Pygmalion, but like without the
weird
romance. Is your tummy okay?
It's D's. Yeah. Yes.
Dropped in
Did
the
you
beat.
know that Frankenstein is not the name of the monster, but
my God.
it's the doctor who
I
is
actually-
the
No,
monster?
dum-dum. It's the name of the book.
But in this, like, the doctor is the Frankenstein monster
Yes.
creature.
Yeah,
Look at
that's
him.
true.
So his
So-
father was
So
actually.
now, technically,
Yeah.
the Frankenstein is the doctor. Interesting.
I actually really love the novel.
Where did Mary Shelley lose her virginity? Anybody?
Where?
Yeah.
With Percy Bysshe.
In that chateau, and was it Switzerland?
Switzerland?
No.
Are we looking for
On top of a
on the
mountain.
bed or like outside or
Great.
like, what kind of
than
answer
more
are we?
specific.
In her pussy.
That's one of the answers I was anticipating. That's the you lose 10 points answer because that's obvious. He was married at the time and had a pregnant wife. So this was not the honeymoon.
Okay.
Ooh, in the parlor of her house?
It was at a cemetery.
I was gonna say that, but I was just like, oh no, that's too obvious.
specific? Whose grave did they have sex on?
His mom.
Her mom's.
Her mother's grave is where she
Mary
lost
Wollstonecraft.
her virginity.
Good for her.
Yeah.
She really stuck it to her.
Married.
Do you know Mary Shelley's maiden name?
No.
It's Godwin.
I see
Well,
what he
A
did
lot of
there.
Frankenstein things in here.
My face. People scared of God. Laugh at God.
God lovely. Like dog face.
And
Simple.
there was a Bella Baxter, a real woman named Isabella Baxter, who was a close friend of Mary Godwin / Mary Shelley.
Oh, whoa.
So Mary Shelley's friend was Bella Baxter. And Mary Shelley is famous because for our, dumb people that watch,
She married Percy Bysshe Shelley.
then she got famous for that. And then
Right.
wrote Frankenstein. Okay.
When she was like 21 or something.
It was for like NaNoWriMo, I think.
Oh, there's a pretty good movie about all that crew telling those stories
Yeah.
that night.
They were
It's-
having like sex parties and stuff under the full moon. And then like,
It's directed by one of my favorite directors, who did Lair of the White Worm.
Poor Things reminded me of Space Cop, aka a gnome named Norm. Anybody know why?
I don't know
Think
why.
back to a gnome named Norm. I don't know if you watched it, did you?
I did watch it.
I don't remember what he called boobies.
Popos.
Popos.
Popos and roundies. Roundies for butts.
Yeah.
Two guys with nothing in common.
Giant robots.
They've got to work together.
Well, when we first met Norm, he was like a grunting creature who didn't know English. And like 48 hours later, he's speaking complete sentences.
This is true.
And I thought of that while watching Poor Things. I thought, oh, this is a lot like a gnome named Norm.
So, what were you doing in my car?
You find a creature that you've never
What are you doing in my car?
seen before, and your first thing
Social
is like,
security number?
squish, squish, squish.
Love frogs. Show a girl a frog. Frog.
Bella have discovered something and must share. Watch.
What do you quit? No. Cucumber in me.
Bella, cease working yourself immediately.
Nice roundy.
She does have nice popos.
He doesn't know the word for boobies, but he knows hot titty.
You don't know what bananas are, you've never heard of chess, and yet you know what empirically means.
Bella wants a drink. Said twice now.
I have an old joke. This is actually the first time I ever did stand-up. I did a joke that I feel like I can repurpose for this. I volunteer at a retirement home because I'm better than you. / I have a get-rich-quick scheme. We dump our old people in a retirement home, wait for them to die, collect our winnings. And I was like, I'm gonna sneak in there, find these neglected old ladies, entertain them a little bit, and get written into wills, right? But you don't realize old people are horny. STDs are going around retirement homes. That's a real thing. That is a real big problem. So they're like in diapers and kind of toddlers, but they remember sex and they're old, and there's like 90-year-old men going like, I want a blowjob now. So I was like, how do I seduce these horny toddlers? And so I came up with a little trick, which is you go, how red is she? You go up and you go, I got your clit. I got your clit. Give that back. Oh, they love it. It works so well. That's how you seduce a horny toddler. Write that one down. That was my closer, the first time I ever did stand up.
And literally that happened in the movie.
They love me, Tate.
I understand why. I have to pinch you to see if you're real.
You're not pit.
He just like straight up just pinched her.
That's basically this movie. I could have written this fucking movie if I'd have thought about it. Oh my God.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Can anybody do Mark Ruffalo's terrible British accent?
No, I love it.
He's doing like Brando in Godfather. He's like has some appliance in his mouth. He's doing something funky there.
He has George Washington's wooden teeth.
Yes, it's
He's
maybe
forcing the air out of himself like too hard.
To rip my spirit to shreds, to punish my...
I loved him. He was so
great.
fucking funny.
It worked.
I
hated him, so yeah, it worked.
Apparently that fart in the jail scene, that was not
Improvised.
that was
I know he improvised the Bella.
and I think the fall on the stairs just happened.
So let's react to some clips here.
Bella cut 2.
Just dead ones for Bella.
How much thought went into that prop?
A fair amount.
Oh God, it just is.
The squish. I love the unnecessary zoom in.
It's funnier every time.
Yeah.
I feel like
She's
like
a pretty
the sound.
sadistic child.
yeah.
When's the last time you were around a toddler? Because
I'm not normally allowed around toddlers.
okay.
It's so not true. Also, little kids love me.
For some reason, it's
Well,
weird.
partially it's because they look at my mustache and just stare, and then it kind of entrances them. Most people coddle little kids. They're like, hey, let's play this. And you're like, okay, we'll play that. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. It's like a cat, you know? Cats are like, I'm not sure. And so little kids are like, wait, you're like...
Normally, everyone tells me yes.
So, fun facts.
Are you
play
humble,
hard to
Brad?
get with toddlers.
Yeah.
I do. Mostly because I'm annoyed by them, I guess.
This conversation is not going well. I don't feel like.
What about the little penis prop. Bloop.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I want to be a fly on the wall in the meeting they had with like 4 production designers and prop people about like how big, how rubbery, is it too stretchy? Should there be foreskin? You know?
Is she gonna pull it, or is she just gonna?
Yeah.
Because they had to think like, is it a pull motion or is it just a
Like, was it her choice? Was that her decision? Or?
Is she going to
Felix'
squeeze
choice.
it? Do we need squeezing? Is it just pulling? Is it flopping?
What goes into that decision? Like, what? You're Yorgos. What do you want?
I think it would have been funny if she like pulled it like as far as it would go.
I think it just showed how little she even cared to pay attention to it, though.
Yeah, it was just like, what's
she's
this
like,
thing?
oh, this thing is like kind of worthless.
That's silly.
Yeah.
Moving on. Stabbing out his eyes.
Yeah.
She's just discovering.
There's
the
not a
thing.
single
You can flap
parent
on
in
it.
this room. So.
Yeah, I don't
Thank
know.
God.
Yeah.
Thank
I know.
God.
That's
Have you gotten your vasectomy yet, Jacob?
No, I don't have
I
the
hope
money.
that person keeps commenting that in every post, every video. On first watch, I'm like, how horror movie is this going to be? Like, is she? Because then, like,
Is this true? Are we turning into a serial killer?
Yeah, McCandless is like, here, can you watch her? And it's like, I just saw her stab someone's eyes out, and then when she meets him, she punches him in the face.
Right.
Yeah,
She squishes the frog like instantly.
She wants to kill him.
So there's some
Kill
very like, where is this going? But that goes away, and instead it's just about sex instead.
Yeah.
She does have a kid.
Emma Stone.
And I feel like she is playing this part like from experience. Like this is a woman who's been like head butted by a toddler, like her hair pulled. Like this is a person who knows.
She gave her toddler a scalpel.
Yeah. Like, she knows from experience, like shush,
right
or whatever.
Yeah, her physical acting, the way she like trottles around and claps.
Trottles.
And
The clapping was very realistic.
A lot of her like physical acting is so good.
Yeah,
it really is.
And that I feel like is missing in the book. All right, next clip.
Why are you hiding her? Tell me what all this means or I'll go to the police.
I shall, for it is a happy tale.
It's just suicide.
That's a net
It's a
positive.
happy tale. You're with him. It's a happy tale.
That's a net positive, I think.
For me, it's just an example of like the dark comedy. A lot of people don't like his movies, and I think completely miss the dark comedy aspects. Things that like, especially on rewatch, you're like, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Oh, I'll tell you, it's a happy tale. Cut to suicide. Okay.
She grabbed my hairy business.
Bella have discovered something and must share. Watch. No. Cucumber with me.
Bella. Bella, cease working yourself immediately.
Hairy business, working yourself.
Yeah, their euphemisms are pretty good.
Hairy business.
Are these actual Victorian euphemisms?
I don't think so.
I feel like there's two kinds of parents. There's the parents who use like the anatomical, like correct names for parts, and then there are parents who use like euphemisms for everything.
Which one was your parents?
Well, instead of poop and pee, that was gross. So we said big potty and little potty.
Oh.
And so.
Well, one is like more volume, but
Yeah,
one is more is denser.
Right. What we call things, and then toddlers use silly words.
Boys have penises and girls have vaginas.
Right.
We could play a game. We could go around in a circle, thinking of different euphemisms for masturbating. The first person to say one that's been used before is out.
Okay.
Oh, it's a drinking game.
Yeah.
I can try my best.
Wanking.
Flicking the bean.
Jerking it.
Jilling it.
Rubbing one out.
Whacking off.
Chafing the carrot.
Carrot?
I realize we mixed genders here, so that's fine.
Yes.
You weren't specific.
My mind is blank.
That's too bad because I've got a good one.
Playing with my hairy business.
That's
Use
not
the one from the movie.
okay.
Say it.
Playing with my hairy business.
5-knuckle shuffle on the one-eyed trouser snake.
Whoa. First of all, I just need to take a second for that. Did we ever say choking the chicken?
No.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, cool.
Whacking the bishop.
I said whacking off, though. Is that the same?
Different.
Yeah, that's
Different.
expansion. That's
It's
fine.
different.
It's an expansion pack.
Yeah.
Private time.
Flogging the dolphin.
Oh, I'm going to call it vibrate if you're on The Sims.
I don't think you need to be sim specific. You can just say vibrate.
Okay.
Right in the dryer.
Yep.
People do that.
People?
Mm-hmm.
I'm out of ideas.
What do you
Just
think
make
it
one
is?
up.
Yeah.
Pick any verb.
Yeah.
Pick any verb.
Get creative.
That's not who I am as a person.
I'm trying to be.
All right. Say disassociate. Disassociated.
Okay.
Say it.
Disassociating.
Polishing the pearl?
Rubbing one out.
Saying hi to my monster.
Oh, God damn it. Come on,
They're
Jen.
just saying like words.
No, all the ones I've done are quoting a movie, one particular film.
One film?
Waiting?
What film?
American Beauty. Kevin Spacey rattles off like 4 in a row.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. I was choking the bishop, chafing the carrot, saying hi to my monster.
Making the man milk?
Okay.
Oh. Yeah, I'm trying to think
It's
of any more,
alliterative.
but I can't.
Yeah.
You did not see me working on myself to get happiness, did you? It is not polite.
That is what I will call it for the rest of my life now, though.
Just rattle
I've
off.
tried to
Just
spread
rattle.
them out.
Just throw them out there.
It's down to
I'll try
you
to see if I can
bragging,
think of
so-
it.
Impress
just go.
us with your knowledge.
I think I've used all my good ones. I don't know. We were getting down to the bottom of my barrel.
That's one.
Bottoming the barrel.
Barreling the bottom?
Now that's a venue in the West Bottoms. Check it out, Barrel of the Bottoms. Just write in the comments. Any you got any more? We'll just have the comment
Yeah,
section
help
be
us
800 comments of masturbation euphemisms.
I feel like a dummy. I can't remember.
My father took out my oxyntic and pyloric glands, so I must make my own gastric juices.
Why in God's name would he do that?
To discover what no one knew. Turns out, we need them ideally. You know,
Ideally.
I'm
It's
actually
that extra
something of a
word.
romantic, Max.
What?
What?
Ideally.
What?
Turns out we need them. Ideally.
I want to know what happens without them.
No, wait. I remember this on, I think it was the Guinness Book of World Records TV show. Does anyone else remember this? It was on
Yeah,
Fox.
yes, I do. I remember a guy squirting milk out of his eyeball,
Yeah.
going like this.
And they would
It was really
shoot
gross.
for distance.
Squirting milk out of your eyeball.
Yeah. Oh.
Spermatic ejaculation can only induce homeostasis in me if accompanied by prolonged stimulation of higher nerves and changes the chemistry of my blood, not for a few spasmodic minutes, but for many days.
What?
I am a eunuch and can't fuck her.
That's his Oscar speech.
Yeah.
I just want them to play that at the Oscars.
To get a sexual response from my body would take the same amount of electricity as runs North London.
It's such a good amount of like Star Trek technical jargon.
Yeah, technobabble.
Technobabble.
It's Victorian medical technobabble.
But when you go back and listen to it, you're like, no, it makes sense.
Spasmodic chromosomal.
My paternal feelings seem to outweigh my sexual thoughts.
He
Higher
has daddy
nerve
issues.
center.
He has daddy.
He has
Yeah.
daddy issues.
Don't we all?
Don't we all?
Speaking of daddy issues. Oh, there's Eclipse
Let
glasses.
us touch each other's genital pieces.
No.
That's it.
That's the clip.
You thought genital pieces was funny.
This movie has just so many little lines that are
Hairy
hilarious.
business versus genital pieces. Yeah, you're so right.
I'm gonna tell you what to do in the editing now.
It's the third time.
Yeah.
Anybody got
So I need a montage.
What? What? A what?
The other one is all the euphemisms for genitals.
Yes.
Hairy business,
How do you know I don't
genital
already-
pieces.
What do you think this is?
But I just want
You
the,
want it condensed.
I want
we
the
want to see them
condensed.
all together.
Back to
Boom,
back to
boom,
back.
boom, 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 boom.
Is that what you call it when
I
you
wanna.
masturbate?
I think
Yeah,
she
go
tends to
boom, boom,
use
boom, 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 boom.
actual
Oh.
like terms.
She does, but like in a funny, like genital pieces.
That's
It's like a funny, like turn of phrase about
She's
it.
still got baby brain at this point, so
Yeah.
she like understands that it's like a technical term, but also like genital parts.
I love
pieces,
it. That's
part.
like so funny though when like actual children do that. It's like they say something, one thing right and one thing that's like not quite right.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It makes it very funny.
Tell the story of.
Okay, my cousin, who shall go unnamed,
because they're underage.
Not anymore.
not anymore at the time, saw a dog humping another dog, and she goes, "Mom, that dog is inserting his documents." And what she meant was asserting his dominance,
Because she had heard that phrase.
but also inserting documents not entirely wrong.
DNA, I think,
It's
is the
data.
document. It's the data.
DNA, which is my class here. It's
Yes.
just data.
That's right.
Data.
Isn't that funny? She was like
AGTC.
4 or 5, you know.
I mean,
Throwing your Gattaca in there.
did I tell you all about the
Right?
time I looked over the fence? Like, I just came out back. I look over the fence. They have the 2 dogs.
Right.
And I could see that one dog was vigorously humping the other. And the little girl who's over there was just
How far away? How far away was she?
very close.
Was she in the splash zone?
She was studying.
You know, you guys ever seen Gallagher, the comedian?
Yes.
Do you know his brother stole his whole act?
Really?
There's a brother that's also
What
Gallagher, and he was just like,
an
I'm
asshole.
also Gallagher. I'm just going to steal my brother's act.
Is that where the band Smashing Pumpkins came from?
I don't know.
Oh, Smashing Pumpkins.
Smashing Pumpkins
It
is what
feels
rowdy
right.
teenagers
I feel
do
like
on December
Gallagher's
or
big deal
November
was
1st.
That's what you
Watermelon.
do when you're masturbating, Smashing Pumpkins.
All Saints Day.
That's what you
Smashing
could call it
Pumpkins.
anyways.
Yeah.
Smashing the old watermelon. Watermelon sugar. That's the thing.
That's a good song.
I looked over the fence. I was like,
I'm gonna go inside now.
I'm just gonna stare this way, and it was
Different cousin, little girl out with her dad. They go into like a family bathroom. It's the first time she'd ever seen him stand up and pee. Dad, that is so handy.
This is genital pieces. This is what this is.
So good. She's a doctor now.
Does she still think it's handy?
I mean,
Could be.
I think it's handy and convenient to sit down. So
Oh, you're a Sitzpinkler.
That's what I told him.
Do you speak German too?
At
My other
home, yeah.
favorite German word, they have a word for a woman who is so short she can give a blowjob while standing. Standegeblase.
Oh, say that one more time. Standegeblase.
Standegeblase. Sie ist
Where
ein
are the
They're both
Is
okay.
geblasen
Geblase.
a blowjob?
Geblasen is the
Geblasen.
infinitive form, right? Is that the right infinitive?
nominative?
No. That's a case.
I'm just curious about the
You
blowjob.
took Latin.
Yeah,
You should know the
long.
difference between the case and
A long time ago.
infinitive would be
have blown. I have blown
And then add the juice.
1,000
Blown.
dudes.
the infinitive is the before you.
What is
do the
happening?
decline.
Yeah,
All
well, I got a C in advanced grammar in college, so.
Drink ideas?
One condition.
She must desire it also. I understand.
2 conditions then.
Ding.
Won't kill you. It's not poison, I don't think.
Tonight, at midnight, I secretly run away with one Duncan Wedderburn.
Tonight, I will secretly run away. That's such a toddler thing.
Yes.
Right? Tell you the secret.
Yeah.
Can I have this? I'm not allowed to have this when my parents are here.
Yeah.
Right.
Can I have it now? It's
Yep.
like,
Siesta time.
What is siesta?
Why do people not just do this all the time?
You've just been thrice fucked by the very best. It's probable no other man will ever bring you to the raptures I have.
Well, then it will just be you I do furious jumping with. Let us go again.
Unfortunately, even I have my limits. Men cannot keep coming back for more.
It is a physiological problem, a weakness in
this
men.
part was
Well,
the shapes his face makes
What?
are the
Right.
best.
without me.
I have adventured it and found nothing but sugar and violence. It is most charming. I am fine.
Sugar and violence.
I am fine.
I am fine.
Better.
Why I keep it in my mouth if it is revolting?
I have said that before to Gerald.
Did you get it?
Because you mean his penis. Duncan's can sometimes be salty. Come. I must go punch that baby.
The wind up. The wind up from
yeah.
30 feet away. I must go punch that baby is the moment I was like, I love this film.
Right. This baby is being
Do
very.
you think we should put the brain of that baby into Jacob?
Oh.
Yeah. I'm sick of mine.
do we do?
My brain would just love to exist in a jar.
Yeah. This film, many an internet Karen has accused it of promoting pedophilia, normalizing pedophilia.
I have some thoughts. Those are the same people who post videos of their kids
You're stealing my notes.
eating popsicles suggestively.
They stole that from the Gong Show.
This is like a whole thing.
Suggestive.
This is like a whole discourse on TikTok right now. Is how there's this one account, and it's this mom, and she's posting videos of her like 6-year-old like licking lollipops.
Oh
It's like,
God, that is just Jacob.
It's the.
Would you read this for me? It's
feel like it's
the
kind of
section that's in all caps.
It's rape, it's rape, it's rape. It's rape. It's exactly the same as a 40-year-old man justifying sex with an 11-year-old girl because she looks mature. Rape, 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 rape. My God. The only thing not capitalized was God. My God. How many little girls have to fight against this sort of thing in real life only for Hollywood to make a movie saying it's okay to physick little girls as long as they look old enough? It's rape!
They talk and talk, and yet at some point there's nothing left but to pull a gun.
Is that
What
a
would
real?
you say to this Karen?
Is that an actual comment?
Yes.
I don't think this
I did
person
not write
understands satire or metaphor
Yeah, right.
or character development.
I mean, I do think it's kind of gross in some ways, but I feel like it's kind of like commentary and all.
It's showing you that
That's
this type of behavior is gross.
That's the point.
Like
yeah,
the male
like-
character who does these actions is the villain.
The butt of the
Exactly.
joke. Right. We don't understand the word promote.
Yeah.
So yeah, do you think Schindler's List is promoting killing
Right.
Jews?
Just because something is about something doesn't mean it's promoting.
Quote, Poor Things is nothing but a disgusting child rape fantasy disguised as free thinking and a controversial art house story. Those were all separately in quotes.
I just want this person to watch Dogtooth.
This is a different. Hollywood already has a problem / history of pedophilia, rape, and sexual assault. The movie where a child being raped isn't going to help that. I can't understand how anybody would support this. And I'm like, this is made by a Greek guy. You don't blame Hollywood, I guess.
Right? Like, wow.
It's icky and it's supposed to make you feel icky.
Right.
I'll watch this because it's in the Oscar list, but then this is probably one of the weirdest, most far out movies to be nominated for an Oscar in a long time.
Yes.
It's probably true. Yeah.
So here are my fuck off Karen 6 commandments. A, it's not realistic. It's a weird steampunk something. You can't be doing the age of consent math. She's aging like, it's like dog years or something.
It's hard not to think that, though.
No, at times, sure.
Yeah.
But like by the end, she's like 30 or
Definitely.
something. So like, you can't just be like, oh, that for the whole movie, this brain is a year old.
Mhm. Oh, yeah, well, definitely.
Just because you show it doesn't mean you're endorsing it. Pedophiles wanting to enjoy some pedophilia aren't going to be super into an adult woman pretending.
At that point, that's its own little fetish.
Sure.
And that.
Yeah.
I suppose empirically it is.
That's like saying that I, a straight man, despite what the comments might say, would be super into a movie where the brain of a sexy woman is implanted in the body of Norm from Cheers. Jacob understood my joke.
Some people are into Norm.
Point D, pedophiles can just go look at Facebook. Why do they need an art house movie?
Yeah, right,
They're just on
literally.
Instagram, people. That's going to be way more entertaining to them than Emma Stone, an adult woman, doing acting. No.
Yep. They
Just get on
are
their Facebook.
Facebook. They're your Boy Scout leaders. They're your Sunday school teachers. They are the princes of England.
Child pageants.
Oh, God.
In a world where child pageants exist,
Yeah.
you're complaining about this?
Right.
Really?
This, like, fake thing.
Talk about polishing the brass on the Titanic.
Like, grow up.
Polishing the brass.
On the Titanic.
No, I was thinking that could be a good, like...
Oh,
Metaphor.
Masturbating. This
Is
conversation.
that not what you were going for?
Because you mean his penis.
And finally, this might be the absolute best way of telling a story in which we're talking about themes of like adult men are like, oh, a 12-year-old, she's very naive and manipulatable. Like, let me get in on that. well, how about we have a 35-year-old woman play that role? Like, this is the best way possible of doing that.
Right. If this
Sexualizing.
if there was an actual child actor, then we would have a problem.
Yeah. This is way less icky than Jodie Foster in Taxi Driver, which is like...
Or Nell.
Or Drew Barrymore in several things when she was a small child.
What did E.T. do? I've seen the E.T. porn.
Oh, Drew Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore, yeah.
Who are you thinking of? Drew
She
Carey?
was like...
Yeah.
And then like the Nickelodeon documentary that everyone's talking about right now.
We just finished it.
What's it called?
We haven't finished it, but
Quiet on the Set.
Like, ick.
Yeah, I know.
See, we're not all pedophiles. We're icked. And we like this film.
Yeah.
There are
Because
no
we know the
children.
difference between right and
There
wrong.
aren't any children in this movie.
It's, yeah.
Wait.
Exactly.
There's a baby that cries and we want to punch it.
Yeah.
There
That
is,
does
yeah.
something.
Oh, there are a bunch of dead babies.
There are
That
dead
is also true.
babies, yeah.
Which are decidedly not sexy.
No.
Yes.
The fact that you had to mention that doth protest. Speaking of Taxi Driver and Jodie Foster, I thought the ending of True Detective Season 4, spoiler, that should have been how Killers of the Flower Moon ended. Moving on.
Yeah, off topic.
Yep.
I can't talk about the Red Fest, but you can talk about two
I haven't seen either of those
TV
things.
shows that nobody's watching.
I have a Reddit comment that's 4 paragraphs long. I'll just read the all caps words out of these 4 paragraphs. Infant, toddler, disgusting, completely unnecessary, child, fucking gross, pedophilia, etc., blah, blah, blah. Then someone responded to them and said, you needed to ask Reddit how credit cards work, so it's not surprising that this film went over your head.
I'm pretty sure this is also the post where someone responded like, please watch something other than a Disney film for a change.
Which this film is on Disney Plus.
No shit.
It's on Hulu.
It's on Disney Plus.
It's on Disney
It
Plus
really
too.
is?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It's on there.
Oh, because they merged?
I don't know.
All the
It's
Hulu
on
stuff
Disney
bled over?
Plus. The entire movie was created to please the pedophiles and normalize it in society.
What?
This person also doesn't know how credit cards work. All right, so let's walk through Bella's aging. It's such a metaphor, Barbie-like, of like...
Does it hit all the
growing into
Freudian
womanhood.
steps? The anal,
Oral,
fixate, like anal state?
No, it's more just a coming of age. You go to middle school, you go to high school. We had our own little age graph. I graphed. So number 1, you start with self-pleasure without any knowledge of shame or guilt. And she's like, hey, everybody, I discovered this.
Is that normal size?
Next step, a romantic, but really a platonic relationship with a boy that's like your dad's friend's son.
Yeah.
Candles.
Yeah.
There's a thing that sometimes like little kids do, where like, I'm gonna marry my mommy, or I'm gonna marry my daddy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
I kind of know what you're talking
I
about.
remember having like playground marriages in 3rd grade
Sure,
between
sure.
like
Same.
kids who hadn't even like kissed.
We're dating.
Right.
We're going steady. It's the boy next door.
Yeah.
It's who you go to the 9th grade dance with.
Yeah, the convenient person.
Right. Then a sexual relationship. We're now maybe in high school.
Hopefully.
I don't know. With an older, more experienced man who's attracted to her because of how naive she is.
Right.
And manipulatable. And
That is icky.
When he's like, get in this trunk. And she's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, she was like, all right.
And then he's always telling her like how he's the best in the world at sex. So.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I have nothing to compare you to, so I guess that's right.
Right.
I just assume that's right. And then she goes to college. Such a classic college experience. She meets a black guy. He's a philosopher. I mean, everybody had that college experience. Black philosopher guy. He's probably into contact juggling. You know, you're sampling.
A smart older
You're
lady.
aging yourself.
Yeah, smart older lady.
Yeah.
Did you not have contact jugglers on your campus?
Yes.
What is contact juggling?
Yeah,
It's
what
like
is
they have
that?
these little balls. And so they're
Fushigi?
like, I don't
Oh
know.
no,
We call
I
that contact
do
juggling.
know what you're talking. Yeah.
And you like roll it across your body. It's
yeah.
very up there with
The rave scene.
That's kinda what I
unicycle.
thought.
Okay,
you were
I
talking
think
about.
you're talking
Oh my
about
God.
Fushigi. The info. You should look up the Fushigi infomercial.
I've never
and
heard
see
that
if that's
word
what
before.
It is.
We had
It's
contact
one of the
jugglers.
best infomercials.
You're about to be mesmerized. It's here. It's wild. It's sweeping the nation. It's Fushigi!
Fushigi, like I don't know what it is, but it's the coolest thing ever, and I can do it.
The magic gravity ball. No strings, no tricks. You can make Fushigi defy gravity and appear to float in midair with maneuvers like the prayer cross, the enigma, levitation, and so many more.
I think you're talking about Fushigi.
So after undergrad, we go to become a sugar baby or an OnlyFans or just a prostitute / we try out lesbianics a little bit.
Exploring your sexuality.
We're exploring it.
Yes,
We're taking a little more agency, exploring it, and going, oh, I can make money.
But making money on it. You're never
The
just like
oldest profession in the
exploring.
world.
What's the next step? We marry a rich older man who's conquering you like it's a territory in a very short-lived marriage. This is when you get married when you're 23 and divorced when you're 25. And then, ultimately, what do? You go back to the boy next door who loved you all along. You move back into the house you grew up in, and it's like a Lifetime movie.
You turn the bad guy into a goat?
Yeah.
And then you turn the bad guy into a goat. The ending is a Lifetime movie. She goes back to the boy she knew.
It's a happily ever after.
The boy she knew when she was little. She
Yeah.
goes back to the house she grew up in. That's what all Lifetime movies are.
Yeah.
And God dies.
And then God dies.
God dies.
What's his name? The husband?
General Blessington.
General Blessington. When they have him and he's like bleeding out and they're like, what do we do with him?
Well, I won't watch him bleed to death. But I agree, you could do with improvement. We should get some water for the general.
Yes.
In the operating room?
Yeah.
Spoilers.
It's like, oh, I loved that. That was great.
So great.
We did
Because your brain is like, what is it? You know? And it's like, goat.
We did discuss whether they were going to put Godwin's brain into the general's body.
Yeah,
Right.
but then the way Godwin died, it seemed like he was ready to go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like,
It seemed like he'd reached the end of his arc.
Right.
So I thought about this. I was like, why do we do the goat? Why not have Godwin take on to this younger body? And I think that opens up this can of worms about like immortality. Like we can just like keep jumping bodies and live forever. And it's like, I don't think they wanted to open up that can.
Yeah, that's not what the story's
It already
about.
took
It's
so
not
much to
about
keep him
this.
alive anyways. So like I do think he finally decided
And
he was just
then
done, you know?
It's also being John Malkovich already has
Yeah.
covered this territory. Spoiler alert. And I've now read the book, and I can say that the book does not have the goat ending.
Oh.
But also like Godwin is still alive and lives past this. So like
Interesting.
I feel like we still haven't even covered the plot. Like we're talking about like the metaphor and or aging and just like nuts and bolts. I'm gonna give it to Jacob. Give me in 2 minutes what happens in the movie.
You open on what appears to be a developmentally challenged adult.
Oh.
Bud.
Blood.
Bud.
Blood.
What a very pretty retard.
She suffered a brain injury.
Her caretaker father is actually a mad genius scientist who has implanted the brain of a baby into an adult woman's body. Little does he know that it will take a sexual turn and she will run away with a lover, only to find taking a lover can lead to sexual exploitation, which she turns on him. And she learns that sexual exploitation runs both ways and can be used for gain, and returns with this newfound knowledge to
Become a doctor?
Yeah, become a doctor.
She takes her first husband and goats him.
Honestly,
that's like
that had
side
the
plot almost. It's got a really tight narrative with these little tight dips
to
and
me,
weaves around it.
As a writer, I was getting worried 2/3 of the way through that I was like, I don't know how you're going to end this, because she's just going to keep maturing and then what? But the fact that it's like, okay, she's going to marry Candles, and then the first husband shows back up, I was like, okay, this is a way to end this.
I was
And
like,
he
oh my
is
god, is there
such
going to
an
be
asshole.
another hour of this movie at that point?
Right, right.
Then she, like, I was like, oh no, she already knows how to deal with this. Like, she's developed enough, she's going to take care of this pretty quick.
So the first husband, who thinks she's just had amnesia, she's actually his daughter. It's explained to him, and he's like, well, you know, women talk too much. That was his response to, like, you're trying to have sex with your own daughter.
He's so deranged.
Yes. And I've seen a lot of people who are like, oh, we don't need the third act, the husband. And I was like, I love that section.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what you
Yeah,
guys
it's
are talking
pretty essential, but it's also really, like, hard to describe the turn that it, like, takes off, but then gets right back on track.
It really sticks the landing.
It's
to me,
such
the
a
ending
right
of this
angle
film.
and then a right angle back.
It really sticks the landing. The ending is great, which I feel like has been my main complaint with Yorgos films in the past.
The Blessington thing looked like it was going to expand so much more, but then it cut right back.
Why
Maybe
does it cut right back?
He wants to trap her, and she's just like, nah.
He wants to circumcise her.
He wants to cut her.
Right, the genital mutilation.
More precise device made. Do you want just clitoral hood? Or glands as well?
The whole infernal packet.
It really looks like it's going to fan out into a huge, another hour of movie making.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm going to control you by cutting off your clitoris. And she's like, this movie's got about 8 more minutes left.
I got to wrap this up.
Yep.
The clitorectomy. Did you think Bella was going to murder him? Did you think he was going to pull this off? What were your
I was
heads
like,
at?
she's going to kill him.
Because we'd gotten into the socialism aspect.
Your horse!
We are our own means of production.
I thought she was going to work with the house staff.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
To form a rebellion, and then it was going to be like a whole half-hour-long narrative of her
a rebellion. So on first watch, I was suspicious that she was going to have it done. Like she was going to choose to be like, all right, I'll try this experiment.
Oh, like the old lady was just sort of like, yeah, I'm not really sexual anymore. I kind of chose this.
Right. I'm going to try this not being sexual anymore and
Yeah, but
see
you
how
can't
this goes.
untry that.
Yeah, the fact that it was...
I think she knew that you could not untry
It's
that.
the
But-
forbidden fruit or whatever.
But as we've seen with Godwin, his father had done all kinds of things to him. He's like, oh, my
This is
father
true.
put my thumbs in things to retard the growth of the bone. And it was an experiment. I was like, okay, so we've already established, she is like him. And he was, willing to go along with weird body horror
Well,
experiments.
and she always, every proposition that came up, she was like, sure, I'll try that.
Right.
Every single time there was some new option presented to her, she always took I'll try this new thing, whatever it was.
And knowing Yorgos as weird body horror, okay. The Lobster ends with, spoiler, Colin Farrell choosing to blind himself intentionally, or maybe not, it's ambiguous, but it's to better bond with my lady, I'm gonna blind myself. It's it might go there. So many movies, there's no tension. It's will the good guys win? Will the bad guys win? It's well, you know how this is gonna end. So there's no tension, even if it's the all is lost moment in a movie where, oh, things are going poorly. Are the bad guys gonna win? It's well, you know what's gonna happen. Knowing Yorgos, I was I don't know. She might be yeah, let's try this. I'm tense. This might happen. Can we talk about the cinematography?
Lovely.
There's a lot of fisheye.
Fisheye.
Yeah.
I was sitting from this angle, which I'm not used to sitting at an angle for my TV. I'm used to sitting pretty straight
6
on.
inches away, straight on.
No, but I'm used to sitting pretty straight onto my TV.
No.
But I'm used to there not being glare from shooting lights.
It's all your fault. Ruined.
Whoa.
It's just on a part of me. I don't know what, but right here.
But anyway, we got fisheye, and we've got
there was a lot
black
of
and
fisheye.
white.
And color.
So metaphorically, let's
Is the
walk
black
us through this.
Is the switch from black and white? It's just such an obvious.
Say it.
Well,
say it.
The first one was Wizard of Oz, right? And then
Mine's done.
I'm getting the Wizard of Oz buzzer. Is that what that is?
So you're saying the obvious thing. You give
But
me
then,
points.
Pleasantville ripped off Wizard of Oz or referenced Wizard of Oz.
You have sex and you turn color in Pleasantville.
Is it that simple?
Here
that's
is
what we're doing.
my take. Toddlers, very, very young, see the world in black and white. And fisheye lens is supposed to also represent this childlike view of the world of the small person, and it's in black and white. Yeah. And then at some point in development, you start to see in color, but because you've never seen color before, all the colors are incredibly vibrant.
I also understood that from the view of the sky and the way the ship that they're on looked. Everything is exaggerated to the point where you're this is a child's view of a ship. You're oh my god, look at it.
It's so grand. Yeah. It's huge.
Yeah, and in Lisbon, when there's the trolley, the tram thing, and then she stops and watches the lady playing the guitar and is wow. After she's
but then by the end of the film, we're in muted color. It's in color, but it's kind of muted, and it's rather flat shots, and it's this is depressing adulthood. This is where we're at now.
Right. The ending looked like what's his face?
Wes Anderson.
Wes Anderson colors. Yeah, it's like a little bit washed out.
The one problem with that is that there's still fisheye, like, kind of throughout the movie. I'm just like, can he limit? And it's just kind of Yorgos loves fisheye. It's like, that kind of ruins the
Yeah, I
metaphor a
remember
little bit.
from The Favorite. It's even in The Favorite where it doesn't fit
He did The
that
Favorite.
well.
Yeah. That's why I just watched The Favorite the other day.
I don't remember
We just
that you
talked
did
about
that.
this. Here's the age graph we came up with. At 48 minutes in, we agreed, meaning I took the numbers you gave me and averaged them.
Oh, okay.
48 minutes into the movie, she was 6.5. At 70 minutes, she was 13. At 81 minutes, she was 18. At 91 minutes, she was 19. At an hour and 53 minutes, she was 25.
What do we got for hair length at all these different times?
Hair length.
Oh.
I can tell you that the sleeves on her wedding dress were a meter wide.
A meter.
Talk about sleeves.
Sleeves.
Mutton chop
Big
sleeves. That's what they're called.
Every outfit had sleeves.
Large
Every
sleeves.
single one.
Twas the style at the time.
What time though?
Non-specific steampunk time.
Right.
All right, let's talk about the Oscars. This film was nominated for Best Picture. It was my vote to win Best Picture. I get a vote.
But
The
it
Academy,
did not.
By the way. Nominated for Best Director. Nominated for Best
He
Actress.
deserves it at this point. Like,
Well, Christopher Nolan won, right?
Which is
Immediately.
go fuck
no.
yourself.
Yeah.
You made a
immediately
movie that you can't hear. Okay.
I mean, Yorgos Lanthimos is coming up on Best Director just on merit within like the next 5 years.
Best Actress, Emma Stone.
She won.
She was really good.
Really good. I haven't
Give it to her.
seen all the.
Emma Stone is in a show, The Curse. Anyone seen this show?
We watched the first episode.
Yeah.
What's The Curse about?
We don't really know yet.
It's about a HGTV style. What's the one you watch? Skip and they like flip houses.
That's like every HGTV show.
There's
Property
one,
Bros.
There's one you watch.
Who Property Bros?
There's a
They
married
aren't gay
couple.
bros.
They like
They're
flip
real bros.
houses.
That's literally everyone.
How many of these shows do you watch?
I don't.
You do.
I
There's
don't.
one you watch. Because
it
I
the
read it, I was like,
Magnolia?
oh, it's that one show she watches.
There's literally so many of these, and I don't actively watch
It's like
any
a
of them.
goofy redhead guy, and I think she's
Chip
like
and Joanna?
blam. Fictional show that's
Okay.
basically that, but it's really kind of about like they're gentrifying things, and then it becomes about like they're stealing from Native Americans.
He also has a micropenis.
I suppose empirically it is.
Anyway, point is, Emma Stone, it's a show, people stealing from Native Americans and gentrification stuff, and then she won Best Actress over Lily Gladstone.
She was really good, though.
She was.
It wasn't like a...
She was better than Lily Gladstone. I give it to Emma Stone.
Lily Gladstone was very good, but...
I was underwhelmed by the Lily Gladstone performance. Underwhelmed. Sorry.
You were... I feel like you were underwhelmed by the movie.
I was underwhelmed by the movie as well.
Yeah, a movie can like take.
I was waiting
the
for her to do
performance, you
True
know.
Detective Season 4 third act stuff, and she didn't. She was just sick the whole time.
Do you know how hard it is to act sick in a believable manner?
Hey,
I
I
do it
call
every
in
day.
to work. I know what it's like to act
You
sick.
know.
Give this man an Oscar. Mark Ruffalo, Best Supporting Actor.
I can't see anyone beating that performance. He
Who did
was-
win that category?
Yeah, who did? For what?
Oh, it's Oppenheimer, isn't it?
Oh, it was Robert Downey Jr.? That's a legacy win
Terrible.
right there.
He's the
Haven't seen it, but...
He might have done an okay job, I guess, but his subplot in that movie is so fucking unnecessary and stupid. I hated it.
Why didn't they just give him the Oscar for Iron Man? He did
Just
like
give it for Iron Man.
But
Best
also-
Adapted Screenplay nominated. Best Original Score.
Oh, 100% win.
It didn't win. This is their name.
Jerskin Fendrix.
Which is not an anagram of Hendrix foreskin. Best Production Design, won.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
For sure.
Cinematography nominated, didn't win. Best Makeup and Hairstyle nominated and won.
I could
You did
definitely
it,
see
Oscars
that.
people. Good job.
She's very
Costume design, Holly Waddington.
A
Nominated
plus, Holly.
and won for costume
The sleeves.
design.
Oh, there were multiple
Let me
outfits
see.
when like
Best Sleeves Award.
I was like,
Best
I
sleeves.
actually like actively
I would
love that
wear
outfit.
Yeah, I was like, I love that. It's very
Jess,
like
tell
surprising
me
fashion.
about the fashion.
I really enjoyed it. First of all,
Give me adjectives that sound really fancy, like we're in an English class or something.
Oh, I don't know.
A fashion
You're
class.
the professor of fashion.
Like
Like you're writing the Vogue article on this movie.
The Vogue article. Well, I don't know. I like there were a lot of like really fun Victorian shapes and different structures that were like very, very antique style, but like also mixed with a nice modern touch.
Did you feel like you were antiquing while you were watching the film?
A little bit. There was a lot of cool stuff, but it was interesting because it all looked like stuff from like a bunch of different decades.
Like, you know, she'd have like these really like elaborate like top pieces with the and then she'd be wearing like her underwear.
Yeah.
And then like ankle booties. And it was like, this is how a toddler would dress themselves. Like, this is how
True.
a kid, like, you
Very
let them dress
experimental.
themselves.
Does this deserve the Oscar for best floors?
Yes.
The floors were impeccable.
Coolest floors.
What else is not?
I mean, the set design throughout the whole
Yeah,
thing.
it was just absolutely.
Is there any other film you want to
So
nominate
ornate.
in the history of film for best floors?
I feel like Suspiria, maybe.
The
I
original
feel
or the
like-
remake?
The remake is questionable at best.
Yeah, I
But the
agree.
floors could be good.
They're very good floors.
I can give
in
you
the newer one.
a film with iconic floors.
Iconic floors. Tell me more.
Oh, you're right.
Yes, yeah.
The Shining.
Yeah.
Has some iconic
yeah,
carpet.
very.
Which I've
that's
seen
true.
recreated in sock form, sweater form,
Sure.
t-shirt
Yeah.
form.
Sure.
We have a beer koozie.
Carpet? Can you get a carpet of it?
That's that.
Oh, I do have the beer koozie.
Mark Ruffalo was hesitant about taking the role of Duncan Wedderburn. Quote, I said to Yorgos, I don't think I'm right for this. And Yorgos laughed and said, it is you.
Oh.
Bella's character design was partially inspired by Egon Schiele's 1911 painting, Nude Girl Standing with Long Black Hair and Blue Black Drape. This was a Bader Meinhof moment for me because I don't think I knew who Egon Schiele was
You did
until
it?
you made a reference to Egon Schiele in Smath. Emma Stone named one of the gooses they had on set what? Goose Willis.
Goose Willis.
The Poor Things book. This book is coming out in the 90s, but it's based on back in the 70s in Glasgow, which is where this is set, not London. It's
Oh,
Glasgow.
okay.
It's Scottish for some reason. They
Makes
changed
sense.
it to London. I don't know why.
It was like the seat of medicine.
Top level, it's the 90s, and we're releasing this book based on back in the 70s, there was a wave of construction in Glasgow because it's booming for some reason. We're demolishing buildings and they were just, oh, we found this trash. Somebody pulls out of it a manuscript. So in the 70s, these people like find a manuscript and are like, what is this? This is crazy. This is like a Frankenstein story, but it's supposedly true. And there's like this discussion about whether it's fictional or not. And some people think it's like a prank. And then it's like lost or destroyed. Like we sent it to a publisher, but they lost it. So I have rewritten it based on my memory of having read it.
Oh, okay.
It was a manuscript written by McCandless.
What?
Who's telling the story of like, well, I went to work with Godwin and then he had his daughter. And Bella's story is told through like, she's writing letters back to Godwin. And so they're like,
Oh, what you get in the movie.
so you'd get like a letter from them. And so then Godwin would be reading the letter aloud to Candles.
Me good. Sugar tart, lick me all day.
Candles is later writing it down in his manuscript. His manuscript later is found lost. Someone rewrites that based on their memory of it. It's like, there's like 7 layers going on. Oh my God.
I love that. I love layered
It becomes a
shit like
joke,
this.
essentially. It's like, it keeps going farther. And this is basically how Frankenstein
Yeah.
is written.
Oh.
Yes.
It's like,
I think it's
also
three.
how Dracula is told.
Dracula's the same way, yeah.
One of my
The
favorite novels.
epistolary novel was like such a thing in
Yeah.
that era. Is it 3 layers in Frankenstein?
I have it written here.
I think it's 3.
In Frankenstein, we have Walton telling his story to the reader. Frankenstein is telling his story to Walton. The creature is telling his story
Yeah.
to Dr. Frankenstein. And Felix is telling his story where it is overheard by a creature.
Right.
So we're like 4 levels.
Okay.
Right.
I missed the Felix.
So like
Right.
this is doing
like
that,
him.
but I feel like it's taking it extra levels and like
Yeah.
it becomes it's a joke essentially. I think McCandless is asking Godwin about his mother. He tells stories about his father did this experiment. He branded my genitals, blah blah blah. And I was like, where did you come from? Do you have a mother? Godwin tells him that he had asked that when he was younger, and his father demonstrated to him with graphs and models and dead specimens where babies come from. But it didn't tell him like who your mother was. It was like, well, here's where babies come from. He then offered to arrange a live viewing of the act if he wished. So Godwin's father was like, I can demonstrate with a woman
So
if
is
you
that-
want to watch. So that's what comes in here as like later in the brothel.
see.
So in the book, it's Godwin's father. It's like, do you want to learn? I will demonstrate.
Gross.
Do we remember the character Harry Astley?
It is the goal of all to improve, advance, progress. I know this in me, and I'm sure I am indicative of all.
Trust me, you're definitely unique, Bella.
I just kept thinking hairy ass.
I just kept thinking
Well,
Harry
with Harry
business.
I was thinking
Astley, I think.
Harry business.
So in the book, Harry Astley comes on to her and proposes marriage to her, and it's like, I have land. It's like country manor. You can come live with me. But she's totally turned off by his philosophy, essentially. And it's like, you're just there's like a line where like, you're just a scared little boy who like can't deal with the cruelty of the world or something.
Nietzsche.
At the wedding, her husband and her father show up. Her father is there.
That adds an extra layer of like...
Which is really her grandfather. And she doesn't choose to go with them. It then becomes this like custody battle, essentially. It becomes like a court case where they're trying to prove that it's her. But then there's like a confrontation, and that's when her first husband gets shot, the general. Who also seems much older. Because at some point it like goes through his resume, and it's like this crazy resume of like colonialism. It's like he was present at the taming of the South African blah blah blah, and then he put down the half-breed rebellion in Canada, and then he was in it was like
That's definitely implied with the way they like
It's,
made his
I was surprised he was so young in the film.
right. So in the book they're like laying out, and then he will receive the Victoria Cross. And it's like 30 years worth of like shit he's doing. It's like this guy is much older.
I think
I am
they
the
used a
very
younger
mother of a
actor because
modern
it makes
major
it more believable that she'd leave
Would want to go with him.
Because she looks at him, she's like,
I don't know, he's kind of
He's
cute.
vaguely attractive.
Yeah.
This is worth exploring. But there's also like hot old dudes.
Do you have any examples?
You remember David, darling? Alison, look who's back.
That
Is that
actor
first?
is in something that I
He's in Girls.
Dafoe is
Girls,
hot.
yes.
He's the shitty ex-boyfriend of Brian Williams on NBC.
Allison Williams.
His daughter.
Did you
was
watch
on
Girls?
And she's
I didn't watch Girls.
used to
Lena
date-
Dunham.
I know.
I liked
know who
Girls
Lena is,
because
so-
I liked Adam Driver's sexuality, basically. Adam Driver shows up and is like, I'm going to do this. And I was like, okay, let's go.
Let's see what happens.
He's very, it's just the way he's like, I'm into like real shit. Like all the other boyfriends are like, have weird.
He just doesn't have hang-ups.
No, he does, but he's like, I'm real about it. This is what it is. And when she tries to like brush something under the rug, he's like, no.
Direct?
Got me going. It's not just direct, it's like, it's like,
It's like unashamed.
just no
That's what I was-
bullshit, no shame, no guilt. We're
Yeah,
just
that's what I
gonna
was trying
talk
to get
about.
at,
We're
like-
gonna figure it out.
You think because you're, what, 11 pounds overweight, you no struggle?
I am 13 pounds overweight and it has been awful for me my whole life!
Holy fucking shit! Here's the world's smallest, tiny violin playing My Heart Bleeds for You.
I mean, like,
This was my first exposure to Adam Driver, and I was like, whatever that guy wants to talk me into, let's go.
yeah.
He's got a handsome nose.
He's handsome in like a non-traditional kind of way.
Yeah.
In like a female gaze kind of way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
General Blessington essentially wins her and is going to take possession of her. We have a confrontation. He gets shot in the leg. Basically, they cover up his death. Oh, he died.
He bled out.
He bled out. Okay. Willem Dafoe dies later. So this whole like, oh, we could just put his brain in there. Like, doesn't happen. And there's no goat brain thing. Like, none of that happens. Even though they've had the weird animal mashups earlier. Those have been in there, but they don't do that at all. There is then an epilogue that's written by Bella Baxter when she's like 80. She finds the manuscript that was written by McCandless, which has been her husband for like 60 years, and they've had 3 kids who all died in World War I.
Oh.
Anyway, so she finds his manuscript and is like, he spent as much as it would have cost to care for 12 orphans for a year to have this published. And I've destroyed all but 1 copy because it's bullshit. And so then she gives, in like 8 pages, her take on what has happened. And this is like barely just the epilogue at the
It's
end.
like a footnote.
And her version is basically, I was married to this general. He was an asshole. I had hysterical pregnancies, decided to get a clitorectomy to stop having any kind of urges. So I went to a doctor, and it was Baxter. And Baxter's like, I don't want to do that. And she's like, well, basically, I'm going to kill myself then. And he's like, I don't know. And she's like, well, I could run away from my husband and pretend to be an amnesiac if I were to come to your door Would you take me in? And he's like, I guess, but please don't. And so she does that. And then she basically is in love with him. He's like caring for her and hiding her. And she's like, can I have a baby from you?
To get a sexual response from my body would take the same amount of electricity as runs North London.
How about I get a man for you who will satisfy your urges, will not distract you from your studies, because she wants to be a doctor. And that's where McCandless comes in. Is like, here's a man, just a very poor thing, a little man who won't be selfish, won't try to do anything to you. He'll do whatever you want. And when she meets him, she describes him as a homunculus. Which is like...
A what?
A homunculus. So back in the day, you think about like a fetus growing.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, they thought it was like you started as like just a very small person.
Yeah.
Just picture a very small adult man getting larger slowly.
Yeah.
So instead of a weird little fish monster that's like a 3-week zygote,
okay.
It's just a
picture a man that's just that big.
Just like so gets larger and larger.
So that's how she pictured him, as a homunculus, which is like
a man baby.
A different take on what she was.
Yeah.
He wrote this manuscript, and I don't know what the hell he's talking about. But here it is, I guess. I'm not going to destroy it. I'm going to like lock it away in a safe, and it can be opened in 1974. It can never be connected to me while I'm alive, and it's like, this is about your great-great-great-grandfather, she's saying. Not only do we have all this frame tale, then it has an epilogue that she's writing saying it's all bullshit. Anyway, so that's where the clitorectomy comes in. It's in
Hashtag believe women.
Right.
Yeah.
It comes in her story. She's requesting it of Baxter before any of the events of the film. So that's a good adaptation, I feel like, is to like put that on the end. Can I read to you from IMDb's Goofs section?
Yeah.
Please.
Mark Ruffalo's attempt at a British accent is extremely unconvincing, preventing the suspension of disbelief necessary to any audience.
What?
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Is he even supposed to be British, or is he just like a man who travels the world and like got a law degree in England?
It's fucking steampunk. It's not a real time or place. Go fuck yourself.
He's an ethnically ambiguous rake.
You are hurting Bella.
Reason does not penetrate. Let us go.
Oh. Yeah, it's the way.
Ow.
You guys want to act that out for me?
Slap him. Okay.
Real slap.
Use your
real
this
slap.
one.
Yeah, I know. I'm doing
Just do it. No, I said fucking do it.
Do
Just
it.
do it.
Ow.
You're hurting Bella, and then. Ow. How's my acting?
That was
Good?
great. That was really
good.
You didn't release your whole breath. He goes,
Oh.
Ow. Do you remember Brenna's wedding? There were 2 toddler girls. Before the dance floor had really started, the 2 toddler girls go out and are dancing. And I was like, I'm just going to go, yes, and they're dancing. Whatever they're doing, I'm just going to copy it. Who has that video?
I don't know. Jeff and, the
hit.
nieces.
It was the hit of the night.
No, I believe my maid of honor speech was the hit of the night.
Which I wrote. So.
But I delivered impeccably.
You did deliver it really well, but I did right.
What of the tongue play you were about to perform? Is that not happening?
This movie's so fucking funny.
Did he lie with you?
No, we were against a wall. We changed hotels.
Look out the window.
You aimed to trap Bella at sea.
you see, it's the implication.
It is the implication, that's right.
What's that saying?
Is that a...
Yeah.
It's a very Yorgos thing, I guess. The way characters will just say kind of meta what's happening. You aim to trap Bella at sea. It just works so well in this context. The child. Oh, it's so good.
Is this man jumping on your body?
No, he's not. I haven't been bedded in 20 years.
What? That is terrible. This is Martha. She is my new friend who has not been fucked in 20 years. Is that not astonishment? So you wish to marry me or kill me? Is that the proposal?
No.
This is when no means yes.
Go to the casino.
You're always reading now, Bella. You're losing some of your adorable way of speaking.
You were in my son.
When Alexander the Great, who, you know, conquered the world, he went to go meet Diogenes, the philosopher. What did Diogenes say to Alexander the Great? You're in my sunlight.
I see.
I thought it sounded familiar.
She's going over the side.
Oh, marvelous. I never imagined being murdered. How dramatic.
Well, she seems happy to die. Sorry for getting in your way.
Let him cock you a bit and make some nice francs.
He would pay me for this.
Yes.
It is, I believe, a confluence of circumstances I regard as almost fate-like. Let us do this.
What a random confluence. I need money and men will pay for sex? What a confluence. All right, coming up, the greatest breakup of all time.
I look at you and I see nothing but ugliness.
That last bit was uncalled for and makes no sense, as your odes to my beauty have been boring but constant.
You hoard yourself.
What you are now going to explain to me is bad. We should definitely never marry. Our adventure is clearly over. There is clearly something broken in you.
You broke that something in me!
I feel this conversation has become circular.
You shortened it a bit too.
I trimmed some stuff. Yeah. This conversation's become circular. We've been there. The breakup conversation.
I'm gonna use that.
We're like, we covered this already.
I'm gonna use that.
Move on. Having seen more Yorgos, I'm like, okay, this is his one note. This is his vibe. It's very darkly comedic. Also, the way people talk is very strange, and they'll say like meta things instead of talking about a topic. Like, I'm saying a nice thing to you now, and you're like, mean retort.
Yeah, I like that about the Lobster.
It's very meta. It's like Schizopolis. Pleasant greeting. Comment about the weather. That's the dialogue. Like, oh, okay. Yorgos is kind of like
a deconstruction.
Yeah. It's yes. Yeah. And I feel like in Poor Things that's happening, but it's in this context of like, well, Bella is just saying English. The thing.
However, I will keep my new life, my lovely old clitoris. Thank you.
Yeah, also they're saying it in like an oldie English accent, so it's kind of like...
What it's about like the tongue play? Is that not happening?
High manners, but also lowbrow.
Yeah.
To aid things along, a finger in the arse, or a slight choking may do it. Go home!
Bella! Your horse!
We are our own means of production. Go away.
Technically, you are your baby. And also, I suppose, you are your mother. And also neither.
It is hard to be in the position where one wants to hit someone who is already in obvious pain.
It is a conundrum, for sure. My father once told me, always carve with compassion. He was a fucking idiot. But it's not bad advice.
Always carve
Do you want to
with
recreate
compassion.
the Chinatown scene? She's my sister. My daughter. My sister. My daughter. My sister.
Got it.
My daughter.
We will need less of your tongue in the future, but overall most agreeable.
I will take that note.
It didn't seem like a very tonguey kiss.
I will take that note.
Right?
Maybe he just shoves it in
Maybe he just
there.
poked it in.
But I've seen the clip about 12 times now. I didn't I mean, I had to make this goddamn montage. You want to watch it again?
Maybe he's got a real
Watch
little
it again.
lizard tongue.
How much? This is too much tongue. Too much.
You don't see.
Can't see, can't see.
That's no tongue at all.
Oh, he could.
Plot hole.
He's got his lower...
Maybe he tried to poke it in and she was like, nope.
Not yet. Not yet.
And she like locked shut.
I still disagree. It didn't look like it. This is a continuity error.
Oh.
I'm gonna go write this on IMDb. She complains about too much tongue when clearly their lips were not apart enough.
God, you are walking.
I have taken 5 milligrams of heroin through the toes for pain, amphetamines for energy, and cocaine.
Through the toes.
Because I am partial to cocaine.
Wow.
Through the
It was the
toes.
time.
That's his favorite.
It was the times.
I have disemboweled men on the field of battle, and I always imagined a dull, hollow throbbing. And that is what it was like. There's also a stench, but that does not apply as a metaphor here.
I loved how pedantic he was. It was like an
Does
obvious
not
indicator
apply.
like, oh, this guy's fucking dumb and pedantic.
We shared a love of good times. Watch.
The floor is very
Alison.
blood-like.
Right.
Soup.
This part made me laugh so
Damn.
hard.
Rex.
Do you think it's tomato soup?
Rex. Alison.
He's quick to pull that gun. He pulls that gun a lot.
No matter what.
And then he ends up shooting himself in the foot. You're working your way through this film. You're like, oh, Baxter's kind of a bad guy. He does his experiments. You get to this guy. Oh, no, this is a bad guy.
Right.
Okay.
We should get some water for the general.
Water.
Well, it's the first word Felicity is shown to understand.
Yeah.
And that's also the first word that Helen Keller understood.
Water.
Water. I didn't think of that. Is it time to put Dee Dee's brain in Jessa's body?
Let's do it.
Pepper's brain.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah. Pray it.
Oh, there it is. Miso paste. Oh, gross. Yes. You could eat anything in the world and you go for that?
Jeffrey, what did you make of the baby brain? It's more interesting than Barbie. Barbie's like fun and lighthearted, but Poor Things was interesting.
I hit my chin.
Did my balls fall out?